90% of life is about confidence. This is my favorite Maddy Perez line from the show Euphoria. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive on the character Maddy Perez and also the person who brought her to life, which is Alexa Demi. I'm gonna be transforming myself, or at least attempting to try out the iconic Maddy Perez blue eyeshadow rhinestone look. Welcome to my little channel, and if you are new here, hi, my name is Beljini. And before I get on with today's video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And today, if you want to comment a little blue heart, since we're going to be doing a blue eyeshadow look for Maddy, either blue or purple, because I feel like those are her two main colors, go comment that down below. And of course, I cannot forget my little drink. Again, we're having iced coffee. I don't have my matcha powder yet. I mentioned that in my last video, so if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Iced coffee is doing the trick, you know, it's giving me energy because I know with gluing on all these rhinestones, it is going to take patience. Honestly, I was kind of scared of doing this look, although like I really wanted to do this look. I knew it was going to be very time consuming because of how many rhinestones are on each eye, you know, like I fully have to like cover the outside of my eye with a bunch of rhinestones, but we're here for it, we're ready. I got my little rhinestones ready. Today we're gonna be using a purple headband because like I mentioned, I feel like Maddy's two main colors are purple and blue. Blue eyeshadow and a purple headband I feel like is a perfect match. Okay guys, so we're gonna start off by moisturizing our face. I feel like the eyeshadow look is just like the main part, and this makeup look just focuses solely on the eyeshadow, which because it's like so bold and so extra, I feel like the rest of the makeup isn't really as bold. It's a little bit more subtle from what I've seen. I have the picture right here next to me from Pinterest, of course, you guys already know. See that she does have like a little bit of, at least in this picture from, you know, how the lighting shows it, she does have a little like sheer like white highlight going on. She has like a very light brown to nude lip. Her eyebrows are kind of like, you know, like a little flared up. The blush seems to be very minimal. Like I'm like almost like not seeing any blush here. I am seeing a little bit more of like a bronze type of look going on. I feel like Maddy's makeup kind of showcases her character. Her makeup is bold and so is her personality. I feel like she just kind of says it how it is. She doesn't care, you know, she says what comes to mind. Kind of like an example, Nate and Cassie, like even before like the whole, you know, scandal happened or whatever, she would still be clocking their tea. Like she would just say it how it is.
We're not back together.
You're not?
No.
I mean, I was gonna say no, but why are you saying no?
Because we're not.
I know, but why do you sound so definitive about it?
I wasn't being definitive.
It sounded like it.
And I feel like you can really see that in her makeup. And she's always in some way, shape, or form ahead of the game, even if she doesn't admit it to herself. I feel like she has good intuition. She was already catching on to the whole Cassie and Nate Jacobs scandal. I feel like even though she didn't admit it to herself in that moment, like something inside of her deep down like already knew. And you see this in a few scenes, kind of like when Cassie did like her whole morning routine, but she did kind of like an extra version of it, and then she had like this outfit. She almost dressed up a little similar to Maddy. Even then, if you see her facial expression, like when she looks at like Cassie and how Cassie's like, oh, my glass is the other way, like she's like,
Wait, why? Oh, my class is why then?
and even in the scene where Nate Jacobs goes to the hospital and, you know, they're both running together as he's being like wheeled into the hospital, she's just like, this girl crying a little too hard.
But maybe the reason he had those issues is because Maddy brought out the worst in him.
She is already catching on without anything having to be said or verified. And another scene, one more time, where Cassie and Nate Jacobs linked up. If I'm not mistaken, she called both Nate and Cassie in that moment and they both didn't answer, and she was just like, yep, like she just knew something was off. and she's so confident and bold, and she is just that girl. I love how the show also shows when she goes through the moments of like, you know, how the betrayal and all that hurt her, and just like her more vulnerable side, because I feel like she has confidence and she knows her self-worth deep down, but she chose to stay with Nate Jacobs. And I think even somebody like her who is confident, sometimes they choose to stay in a cycle even though deep down they know their self-worth. And in my opinion, I feel like that might have been the case for her. Again, this is, you know, this is all mixed with my opinion. Yes, I did do some research, but it's also mixed in with like my opinion and my take on it. I'm gonna start off kind of like with a light blue. I also want to go back to one of my favorite lines from Maddy, which is 90% of life is confidence. She kind of emphasized how like you can choose to feel confident. It's more like the state of mind. When Lexi was just like, you know, like, I don't like this, I feel stupid, and you know, Maddy was like, okay, well, you know, like I can relate to you, and like I felt that way too. What I took from it is you have the power to change your mindset. You know, you're the only one kind of holding yourself back. You can choose to like switch it up in an instant. Even when she said, yeah, I felt stupid too until I just chose not to, it just showed how she kind of like shifted her mindset. And I feel like even if she wasn't always a confident person, this goes into kind of like the fake it till you make it, because I feel like that statement is really true. In my last video, of course, I talked about a whole different thing about confidence, about how you have to do your inner work first, and then, you know, that just the confidence afterwards kind of just radiates and it'll flourish, it'll come naturally. But also another method is fake it till you make it, in a sense where think about like the type of girl that you want to be already, you know, like you are that girl. Act like the better version of yourself. Like how would the best version of yourself like think? What will their mindset be? And kind of already tap into that, because you know, you might not get there overnight, but by already kind of like training your mindset into getting to that place, I feel like little by little you will become that. The fake it till you make it statement is true to a certain extent if you think about it, in a sense where like, you know, if I keep training my mindset every day a little bit more and more, then eventually I won't be faking it and I will be that, you know, my mind will be confident, I will be confident. It's honestly all about like training your mind into shifting into the confident mindset. It'll take time, but you'll get there. As I'm doing this makeup look, we're just gonna experiment with the colors a little bit. So I went in kind of with like, you know, like a light blue, almost like a teal, but now I'm gonna try to go in with a dark, almost like navy blue type color, because I really want to make the wing part of it the darkest part of the whole look. You kind of see what I'm going for, you guys? Okay, you guys, I'm gonna be jumping around from topic to topic. The more that I think about certain scenes or just like the way that she reacts to things, like the more that I'm like, okay, like I get it now. But going back to her relationship with Nate Jacobs, I feel like yes, deep down she did know her worth, and you know, she stayed even though it hurt, because you know, sometimes you just think that's what love is. Because as you can see in the show, like the way that she grew up and the hardships that she went through in her personal life and with her parents and all that, you know, she confused intensity with love, and that's why she held so tightly onto that relationship. But she knew who she was, you know, she was always confident, she was always, you know, bold, she was always, you know, the it girl. It's not that she didn't know her worth, it was more like she chose to stay in a cycle. You guys, wait, why am I kind of living for it already? Like I barely put blue eyeshadow on and I'm like, I already feel like a different person. Okay, you guys, I do pretty much have brown eyes, I have hazel eyes, but I feel like blue eyeshadow looks the prettiest on brown eyes, like hands down. I feel like that's why like she just took this look into another level. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to show you my progress a little bit as I go. Before I continue rhinestoning the rest of this eye, I wanted to say how only Alexa Demie could have brought Maddy to life the way that she did, because of course they could have found anybody else to play Maddy, and yes, we still would have liked her, we still would have liked the lines and everything, but I just feel like the way that she embodies Maddy is just like, I feel like nobody but Alexa Demie could bring Maddy to life in that way. And I feel like that's why she's such a fan favorite. And honestly, I'm excited to see where Maddy goes in season 3. Of course, season 3 is a completely different ballgame. You know, they're not in high school anymore, they're all grown up. So it's exciting to see Maddy in a different stage of her life. I was watching an interview with Alexa Demie, and don't quote me, but these are just some parts that I'm remembering, where she feels like she does have like a little bit of Maddy in herself, and I feel like she just put all that energy into playing her and like bringing her to life. And I also think the fact that you know, Alexa doesn't come out in too many roles. She's a little bit like more low profile, you know, she's a mysterious queen, you know, she's very low-key. That's another reason why I really like her, because I feel like even though she only pops out like every once in a while, people still remember her, and she's still just like, her aura leaves like an unforgettable print. I feel like people are almost like cherishing and like taking in whenever she does decide to like act like in Euphoria, or like for example like she did in Waves. Like people really like cherish the films that she comes out in and like the shows, because she doesn't pop out that much, but when she does, girl, it's always a banger. Okay, you guys, so it took some time and patience, but I finally finished both eyes, and honestly, I'm not mad at it. Yes, it didn't come out like hella perfect, but you know what? I'm still proud of myself. I still like the way that it looked. Honestly, I thought that I was gonna struggle with this look like a lot more. Like I thought the gems would be like falling off halfway. I thought it would get super messy, which it did get a little messy, but it honestly wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was just, you know, time consuming. I feel like I took an hour like on each eye. With any look I do, for some reason, my second eye just goes by a lot quicker. Maybe because I already kind of know what I'm doing and I'm just like copying the first one, whereas to the first one I'm kind of like, you know, seeing as I go, like seeing what works and all that. I saw that her eyebrows were a little bit brushed up with this look, which honestly is not my personal favorite. I don't really like the way that my eyebrows look brushed up because they are pretty long, but for the sake of this look, we're gonna try it out anyways. It looks like her brows are pretty like natural. Honestly, it just looks like eyebrow gel. I might darken them up just a little bit because I do have pretty light brows. You guys, going back to what I was saying about Alexa Demi being intentional, I really like that about her. I admire that about her, and the fact that, you know, she could be out here, you know, with the rest of the celebs, like popping out like at event after event. The fact that she like, I'm gonna choose like, you know, when I want to pop out, that's like aura. Like that is a very like just such a good place in my opinion to be. I feel like she values her privacy, just from observing from the fact that she, you know, pops out every now and then, and I really admire that about her, because I feel like a lot of people, they might feel like the need to like, you know, stay relevant and go to every single event. And this isn't just like famous people, just like people in general. I feel like some of us feel the need to like, you know, show up to every single event, to every single party, every single thing that we're invited to, but it's just like sometimes it's okay to just, you know, want to pop out every now and then and pop out on your timing. Just being like wise and like mindful, doing things on your term and not just because you feel like you have to keep up. Be intentional, do things on your terms, not because you feel pressured to. So let's try, actually before I put brow gel on, let me just like brush out. Oh girl, I need to be careful because I almost brushed off these rhinestones. Girl, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna be extra careful because girl, if I brush off these rhinestones, girl, but like I'm not gonna fill it in the way that I usually do, which is like that, like I just fill in the ends like all the way. I'm gonna fill it in more like going upwards, more like touch-ups rather than filling it in, you know. I feel like you can already tell the difference between this brow and this brow. Even though this one still looks like very natural, it doesn't look like super light, you know. I feel like there's more like emphasis on this one. Okay, you guys, so as you can tell, I tried to do kind of like a mild spiked look since I don't really like when the brows are like all the way brushed up. So, you know, I kind of did something where it falls into like the middle a little bit. Honestly, I feel like I might have put a little bit too much foundation on my hand. I feel like it is in full coverage. I feel like it's like medium coverage, but I'm gonna try not to do like a harsh like bronzer or contour or anything like that. You guys, I also like how Alexa Demi keeps her social media, more specifically her Instagram, very like mysterious. Like she only posts like every once in a blue moon. Honestly, just like her whole aura, like she pops out once in a blue moon, posts once in a blue moon. Like she's very like low profile. I feel like sometimes even a little mysterious moment and like popping out like every once in a blue moon, I feel like it's a healthy thing. It's like, you know, like you're just living your life. Because I feel like I'm the type of person where it's like, I feel like I do kind of post a lot. Like I'm not gonna lie, I do post a lot, like especially on my Instagram. Like I do want to be a little bit more balanced about it. And you know, don't get me wrong, like I'm still gonna post, even though I'm like taking a social media break right now. Well, at least from, you know, like my main TikTok and Instagram account. I feel like I want to post a little bit more like once in a blue moon type of thing. You see me post like 15 stories back to back. You guys don't judge. But girl, even if you do post back to back, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you do you, just as long as like your mental health is, you know, doing good and you're not letting it like over consume you, and it's being done like in a balanced way, then I don't see anything wrong with that. And I feel like the fact that Alexa Demi puts herself out there very selectively, not only again is it admirable, but also like people still want to know about her since she's like so mysterious, and you know, she only shares what she really wants to share. People still want to know about her. People still want to see her in films. You know, she definitely left an unforgettable and like mysterious impression, and people still want to know about her regardless whether she shows up to every event or whether she posts like, you know, every 9 months, every once a year. And the fact that people still want to know about her and see more about her is like such a cool, it's just like such an awesome thing. You guys, I am running low on concealer, but we're gonna make this work. Going back to an interview that I saw of her recently, she mentioned how like at one point she almost wanted to quit acting because she feels like she was like being overlooked and the roles were given to, you know, like blonde hair, blue-eyed type girls. But honestly, even if it isn't acting, like I really hope to see more of her, because I know she even like released a book with someone. It was kind of more like images. I honestly have to look more into the book, but like I saw a lot of like fairy tale type of vibe going on, you know, like sirens and fairies and all that. And I thought that was really cool because I feel like we need more of that like fairy tale, like imagination, whimsy type of vibe. I hope to see her venture out. She even mentioned how, you know, she does a lot of things. She's not just an actress. Which, you know, period clock is, she's that and more. So we're gonna go for a very light bronzy type of look. Like usually like I just go in and like fully like do that. We're just gonna kind of do like a few dabs just to give us a very light little tint. So I'm gonna go in kind of with like a little bit of a dark pink. I saw she was like super light on the foundation and it like laid a little bit more on like the cheekbones rather than like a lift, you know? I am usually used to like putting it like all the way up here, like anything like bronzer, contour, highlight, blush, all of that. I like to have kind of like that lifted face effect, but this one is just more kind of like in the middle, like very like cutesy. Okay guys, so now the final touches, which is highlight and the lip combo. Honestly, this is pretty much like super close to my regular lip combo, so I'm loving that. This is what my hair looks like fresh out of the headband. So this is the finished look, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I definitely had a lot of fun diving into this bright, colorful rhinestone makeup look, and also diving into Maddy's character, and even diving into Alexa Demi as not only an actress but somebody who was also venturing out. She's just living her life and doing, you know, lo que le da la gana basically, and I love that for her. But yeah, you guys, I had so much fun doing this look. Let me know if there's any other Euphoria looks that you want me to do, whether it's a Maddy look or anybody else on the show, or just like any like bold, colorful look that you want me to try out next. It could even be like a simple makeup look, like anything that you guys want me to dive into next, let me know. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and comment either a blue or purple heart. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because if you subscribe, then I will keep you in my corazoncito forever. But anyways, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Kisses.